Welcome to Behind the Audition Podcast with your host, Curt Hilton. Listen in on interviews with voiceovers, filmmakers, producers, animators, and much more. Curt, a voice actor himself, will give insider tips to the business, talk with guests about how they got into the business, and be sure to stay tuned to the end of the podcast when he challenges his guests with a pop-up audition. Now it's time for Behind the Audition Podcast. Here's Curt Hilton.
Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Audition Podcast. On this episode, I got to speak to the amazing voice actor, Portia Cue. Portia and I talked about how she transitioned from on-screen acting into the voiceover industry. We talked about her work with movies and television. And we also talked about her one goal and award that she intends to win one day. So sit back and enjoy another episode of Behind the Audition Podcast. And coming to the show, I'm super excited to have her, the one, the only Portia Cue. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Curt. Thank you so much for inviting me to Behind the Audition.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you and I have talked on LinkedIn, which I've talked to a lot of voice actors, and it's such a great platform to network, kind of get to know each other before, someone comes on a show or, what line of work you're in. And from our conversation, you're from on screen and you're doing voice acting. I saw that you were on stage. Let's go back in time and talk about being on screen. What was that process like?
Wow. My first movie was right out of grad school. It's called Ghetto Dog. And do you know Chaz Palminteri?
No, I will definitely look it up though, for sure.
Well, you'll know his face. He's in like all the Italian mafia movies. He's got these big lips.
Okay.
And anyway, his wife was my best friend, played my best friend. Robert De Niro's daughter was in it too. So it was, it was good, Curt. My reviews weren't that great, but it was my first movie, and it was I actually had a nude scene as well.
Oh, so goodness.
That was very controversial, and it's really a shadow. It's a silhouette. It really is not that bad, but that was interesting to have that be my first movie experience. And the movie actually went on to get widely distributed across the world.
That is awesome. And one thing about this show I like to talk about that I want to talk more about is the audition process. And, you got to audition for a movie. That's one thing that I'd be terrified in front of a camera. I can do characters, I can do things behind in the booth, but you put a camera in front of me, I'm like a deer in the headlights. That process of getting in front of somebody and they have the clicker and they do you get into character before that, or are you ready to go prior?
Yeah, absolutely. The moment before is operating right then and there. So if you just stepped into some dog poop, smell the poop, smell it, feel it, and then go from there. If you just got to smack, you need to be right there. Because, the action starts before the action.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. So yeah, that's one thing. If I do step in some, and you automatically know it right away. So that is great. So, being on stage, like that's another thing. And I hear a lot of voice actors, that are coaches now and who are on stage. What is that process like? Get in front of all those people to audition. What is that like?
You're asking about in-person auditions, right?
Yeah.
They've virtually been eliminated. So we do all auditions on self-tape.
Wow.
Meaning, and I'll tell you, I have a setup here, but you need a reader, and they don't want you to. I used to have my mom read with me and my cat, and it just wasn't working out. My agent said, stop using your cat, your mom, they sound terrible. So you have to have a professional reader. So there's these services. So it's like $20 a pop, $40 a pop. And there's 4 of these a week. So it's really like, wow. But because if you don't have a reader at home, you got to go out and to get it done. So, but I'll tell you, when I used to audition for live, Curt, wow. I mean, it's terrifying, and sometimes you walk into there and there's, 5 people there and you don't expect it. But really, I'll tell you what, Curt, when I'm prepared, there is no fear. When you're really prepared in that character and you really feel confident that you're not scared. You just, like, I used to have a teacher, Greg Allen Williams, a great actor. And he said, you're a plumber, fix the pipes. That's your job. it's just they're hiring you to fix some pipes, so fix them.
That is
And
awesome.
when you got the right tools, you're not nervous. But a lot of times, and unfortunately, but this is the process of learning. You don't have the lines really. If you don't have those lines, it's not going to be too good for you unless you're going to improv. So when you
Absolutely.
preparedness helps take away fear big time.
Now, did you go to school to learn how to be an actress as well? Did you like have a coach that helped you, audition as well?
I did not have an audition coach. I would go to classes, take classes here and there. I went to Actors Breakthrough with in here in Atlanta. Um, what other acting? I really haven't taken too many acting classes here in Atlanta, but I do vow though. I think it's very important to always get coaching. I'm getting voiceover coaching now on a regular basis because I don't know many actors or voice actors or athletes who are great without coaching. I can't really think of many. So I'm like, I've got to invest in myself here. So with theater, I got my master's and I soaked up all I could, from there.
Absolutely. You got one of the best and Donovan Cornetti's out there in Atlanta. And, that area is just, growing with motion pictures too. I mean, do you see a lot of sets out in Atlanta nowadays? Because it seems like, made in Georgia, made in Atlanta. Do you see that a lot in Atlanta?
You really do. And we love to see it. You
Yeah.
see the white truck uh the honey wagons and
Yeah.
the crew and catering. You see it a lot. And even in my little town in Marietta, Jim Carrey filmed his last movie here in Marietta.
Love Marietta. We had some friends that live there, and that is like the coolest it's like a little town inside of a town. And we went there. I forgot what time of year it was, but it was like this little downtown Marietta, or is Alpharetta, one of the two. But it was such a cool area. And I just love how Atlanta is just always alive at nighttime, and there's always going on. Everybody seems happy. So that's we're in Raleigh, North Carolina, so we're not too far from you guys, but it's just a great place that's growing in the motion picture business, and I love seeing that happen. And so
Yes.
one thing I saw about you that I want to talk about next is you got named after a William Shakespeare character. That is awesome. Tell us about that.
And I don't want to like shout my mom out too bad, but my mom doesn't really read many books. So I'm just like, what were you doing reading William Shakespeare? God was like, read that. But she was reading William Shakespeare, Merchant of Venice, because there's two. There's Merchant of Venice, and then there's Julius Caesar.
Mm-hmm.
Two different Portias. But the Merchant of Venice one I like because she cross-dressed as a man in order to save her husband's life. So I think that's just so cool. But yeah, that's where it came from. And I actually ended up going to William's house where he was born
Oh,
and
wow.
having a beer at the pub where he apparently had drinks.
So is it warm beer or cold beer? I hear they like warm beer over there.
I like warm beer as well. It was cold,
Oh my
but
good. How do you
beer.
tolerate warm beer? I don't know how you do it. I mean, I have a lot of I have a lot of German and Irish in me, so they would probably laugh at me now that I like a cold beer over a warm beer. Maybe I got to try it.
Oh, so that's the thing with Irish, and is it to drink warm beer? I
I,
didn't know.
that's well, at least I from what I've been told. So maybe not. But we were talking on like on social media, and you're over this transition of voiceover. What is the difference between on screen and doing voiceover? What do you like more about voiceover now?
Oh my gosh. And actually voiceover is helping inform my acting. I think I'm a better actor because of voice acting, because voice acting, what do I well, first of all, I love it's nice not always having to put to dress up, right? Although I do like to try to look nice, even though no
Hmm.
one can see me, because
Hmm.
my shoes and everything informs how I'm speaking, right? Well,
Right.
to an extent.
Right.
So what I love about it's a disembodied voice. So you have to work harder.
Hmm.
That's what I like about it. You have to really work harder with your spirit and the instrument, of course. You have as my amazing coach Robin Armstrong would say, you have the organics and you have the mechanics. So with voiceover, it's almost you can't run, you can't hide.
Hmm.
It's all coming out of here. So they say don't sell it, tell it, don't sell it. You know, um,
Absolutely.
so it's just I love it so much. I just love it because it's the ability to make something move or to make someone take action. you know.
Absolutely. And you got that beautiful voice too, that, you know what I mean? When you hear your voice, I've heard your work, you do a really good job. You know, when you
Thank you.
you hear actresses and actors and that are on screen. I heard Jason Bateman the other day. He was doing a voiceover, and I've heard Alicia Keys do an Allstate commercial, and I've heard, you know, so many people diving into the world of voice acting. Do you think it is because it's easier just to record from home or record in a studio than being on screen and going through all that process?
That's going to be a big yes. You know,
Okay.
it is. And especially when you're a celebrity. I mean, I was like, wow. And I love how Alicia says that. I'm obsessed with, she goes, welcome to Allstate. Because see, that's what I'm learning. And because I haven't, a lot of us do, but
hmm
particularly me, I was looking for perfection and a pretty voice. And everyone, my customers would say, you know, can you revise this? I'm like, they don't want pretty voices. And
Right.
everyone knows that now.
Right.
They want personality, chutzpah, you know, who
hmm
are you? What do you have to say? What you have to say?
Right.
So, yeah. Did I answer your question, Kurt?
Absolutely, you did. You did, and you know, and I totally agree with you because you know you do this audition process a lot where you'll read it and you'll read the direction and my voiceover coach she was like sometimes do one the way you want it or the way you think it should be, and you'd be surprised. They're like, wow, I like that idea better, and you just said it. I think sometimes if you do 3 takes, throw one that you think that it should be at the end, and you might get something back. So you know what, we like this better. Good idea. You know what I mean? I'm finding, you know, at first I was like, I gotta do 3 takes, but you know, throw that extra one in there. And do you do that with your auditions?
I do two. I don't do three. But you're absolutely, because I don't. Sometimes I'm like, should we do three? Are they going to
hmm
listen to three? But I think that's generally, I think that's good, and maybe I'll start to do three. You know.
Absolutely. I mean, if you want, I mean, I know some people only read like 15 words or they'll read 2 lines because some might have like 15 auditions in a day and they're like, oh my gosh, I got to knock all these out. And they feel that
Mhm.
a whole paragraph is too much. I've heard people doing 2 lines. And and the next question I have, building your brand. What are some things that you like to do to get your name out there that puts Portia out there, that this is what I bring to the table? What do you like to do?
Uh, well, and I don't know if this is so much a good thing for branding myself. I tend to shout other people out. Um, I tend to like to go over what I learned from other people and put it out there as information. So, but I will tell you that I have some work to do on my branding. I'm actually going to start working with the Celia Siegel.
Wow.
Have you heard of Celia?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got her book, Voiceover Achiever.
Yeah.
I read it. I've done a lot of the exercises, but I'm like, I'm not gonna put my brand. I got to get this. I want her team, and so I'm super excited because I have, you know, to see what we're gonna come up with. But I think that I like the idea of sharing information, just sharing information, and of course, you know, every time you get a job, always
hmm
share that, mixed with a little bit of personal stuff, you know.
Absolutely. So what do you think of the voiceover world now that you're transitioned over? Do you think that everybody in the industry is so nice compared to the on-screen?
You know, I've had a few on-screen experiences, as you see, with a couple of movies,
hmm
some television, not
hmm
ton.
hmm
Uh, but gosh, oh gosh, the voiceover community. I mean, first of all, you know, I define for me, at least how I came in. I came in through the Rudy and Joan Baker track. You know, and then from Rudy and Joan, there opened up the whole entire world
hmm
from there. Um, so um I feel like they contribute a lot to the energy in our industry, and they're pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And so, but that's just, I didn't want to just shout them out because there's everyone on the board of directors. I mean, Fenoy, Collins. I mean, I just can't. Roy Yokelson, our engineers. I mean, just I don't know what it is about voiceover, but they're just so amazing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely amazing.
That is so true. And you know, one person you worked with, I got to ask, is Chris Noth from Sex and the City. How was that working with him?
I didn't work with Chris.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
I
Okay.
didn't. I worked with his 2 co-stars.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay. I saw the movie. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to ask her because, my wife, she loves Sex in the City, and he plays a real, I probably watched maybe a quarter of those movies, but that guy had such a cool role. And, that in that movie, you know what I mean? Like, he was a cool guy. He seemed, I don't know if you got to work, actually get to talk
Yeah.
to him, but he
Yeah.
seemed like a really nice guy.
Yeah. It was his 2 co-stars, they were great too. And I forget their names, but they were amazing. That was actually my first TV role. So I was super excited. I got to cry. I mean, every actor wants to cry. So
That's
they were like,
awesome.
they were both like, "Are you going to be able to cry?"
And you just
And
did
I was
it
like,
like that. How do you
"Yeah."
do that? How do you
I
do
was-
that? How do you make yourself cry? Do you think it's something like awful to make yourself cry?
Honestly, like I can just do it now. I just start to, I don't know. I can just make it come out. Like I can just, and then the more I work myself up, it's like I'm channeling just the emotion of cry.
That's
I don't have to
amazing.
think of anything to cry. It's just the cry itself.
That is
Now,
awesome.
in school, we learned that you can, you can actually just start from the inside and start to kind of in the belly. Then you can make it happen. We used to do that. Yeah, I just can do it.
So are you done with on-screen movies or and shows? Do you want to stick with voiceover now, or what do you want to do both?
I will get an Oscar. I just said it out loud to the whole world. No, I plan on getting an Oscar. I may be 80, even 100.
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. And it's
Yeah,
going to be amazing. How about that? It's going to be amazing when you get an
yeah,
Oscar.
yeah, I plan on it. I know that's and it would be miraculous, but it is going to be. So, but yeah, I love being on camera. I love and I just really want to, I guess I want to do import some stuff that really matters, stuff that really just really matters, makes people hopefully try to be a better person. A lot of the stuff I've done has it. I played a cougar that was in a scene on a BET. It was one of their bisexual characters,
Huh?
and me and the girl in a shower. I'm like, how did I find myself here? Oh, my agent. But I mean, but it was fun. It was so much fun. That was the funnest scene that I'd ever shot. But yeah, no way. I do both. I do both. I
That
audition quite a bit.
that is so. Take us into the world of on screen, because I this is great. I get to talk to somebody who's on screen. A day of auditions. How many do you think you do? Like when you have like a busy week, is it you go from one part of Atlanta to another, and you just got it's all day of auditioning? Is that what it is?
It used to be a busy week. Now is 3 auditions right now a week, and I've been kind of doing that, and I've never, recently I've been going up for larger roles, and I know it's because of these great headshots I got. So now my job is to really book the role and to, embody that character. But we do a lot of self-taping. So I'm in my sound booth now, but I have a little setup out there. So I'm either out there or I go to the self-taping facility, and that's it. But you used to run around like LA, like the LA guys. It was kind of brutal, running around like that.
That
But
is awesome.
yeah, but no more. And it was cheaper because all you paid for was gas. But now you're doing but it's wonderful. I love it all. I I love it.
That is awesome. And so, what would you tell somebody getting into both voiceover and on screen? What's some advice that you give to them getting into this industry?
If they wanted to do both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's great that you're doing both. I love hearing doing both,
Yeah.
not just one. What
Yeah.
advice would you give to them?
I would say just learn, just try to be organized. As far as keeping, because like you have to wear a lot of hats, right? You have to have your marketing hat and like I have clients that I don't, I feel like if you don't want to pay me for a year, that's okay, but you are gonna eventually, but you have to, make sure you keep your accounting in balance so that you don't forget that people, should pay you. You need to keep your time because sometimes it's very overwhelming. You'll be like, you
Yeah,
have these auditions, you got voiceover, and then they're both due now. So I would say meditate.
love
you
it.
know that's what you meditate and eat well. I really think you got to keep your brain and your mind and your spirit in order, um because wow, if you're going to do both acting and voiceover, you really have to be, your spirit has to be okay. When
Yeah,
you're in a bad place, and we all do get in bad places, it's certainly a challenge. And I would just say, get coaching, because they are if anything, if you're going to be a voice actor, invest in acting classes. For like, if you don't want to do voice classes and acting, do acting first, because voice actors we are.
Absolutely. I love that. You know, speaking with you about both sides, and I get emails all the time. Hey, how do you get into voice acting? And I usually just say, I'll take a couple of calls and say, we can sit down, we can talk about it. I'll refer to somebody, but I say the same thing, coaching, make sure you want to do this. This is not just, somebody thinks some people think it's fast money. They think it's, I'm going to be famous, or they really don't know. When I started this back in 2001, I did it for fun. I thought it was great to be on the radio, but then I got a passion for it. And then I really wanted to make it a career. And then I wanted to let my creativity get out, and that's what you can do with voiceover. And I just tell people, make sure this is what you want to do, because it's not about fame. It's not about money. It's about loving what you do. Because I guarantee 90% of people that I talk to, they would work 90 hours a week if they could, doing this because they love it, not just because of the fame and the money. Wouldn't you agree?
Exactly. Oh, exactly. I used to do it for free, basically.
Yeah.
I did,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't do what we do at like a corporate job. I used to be like a real big goofball job, but if I did that nowadays, I wouldn't be there. Half the stuff I used to do, because we're all goofballs. We're class clowns. 90% of us are probably class clowns. And in high school, we're the ones that made people laugh, which was good.
Mhm.
And then we'll send our invoices to those people now to get our money back. And but it's great to hear somebody like you have the passion and drive to do both. And I really don't get to talk to many actors, and I'm so glad you're on here. And now we get to have some fun. It's time for the audition challenge. You ready to have some fun?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay. So I sent you something in your chat
Okay.
message there, and this is going to be for a TV show coming out. We got Halloween coming up here shortly. So whenever you're ready, read the script like it's coming on TV.
Okay. This Monday on AGT, Amanda is nervous for the costume party. She is fearful that someone else will claim her attention as conservative Harley Quinn. Watch the new episode of Insecurity Factor on AGT.
Oh my gosh, that's why you're one of the best. That was awesome. That was awesome. What do you think of that show? That'd be pretty cool to watch, right? The people insecurity.
I would. Of course I would.
So as a voice actor, do you like to write your own copy and like practice too every once in a while? Because I love to do that, write my own copy for my demos, because I'm always practicing every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've written quite a bit of copy. I did my own demos, but
That's awesome.
before I kind of I scratch copied, I reference things, but I love to write. So yeah, absolutely. It was a challenge, but now I'm gonna go ahead and get professional demos. I'm actually getting my next demo is with gonna be automotive with
Wow.
Cliff Zellman.
Very nice.
And I am over the moon, because it occurred to me that as a child, I used to want to voice car commercials. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, full circle.
You totally got the voice for it. You totally got that voice. Yes, absolutely. What do you want to do next? Like, let's say it here. What's something big you want to do next? Like that you just have a real big drive for?
Okay. I have a really big drive to be the queen of automotive. That's what I want. I want to, do a lot of car commercials all over the country. That's what I want. And then I want that to, segue into whatever else it will. But I used to think I wanted to do animation.
That's awesome. What kind of animation?
No, I used to think I wanted to.
Oh,
but
you don't anymore?
No, I'm going to leave that to the pros, unless someone wants my voice for some reason in animation. Now, I did do, it should be coming out on some channel on television. It's for a children's show for baboon animation.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I play a pig. My name means pig. My hero was a pig. I collect pigs, and I got to play a mother pig on my first animated show. I'm like, thank you, God. Awesome.
That is awesome. That is great.
Yeah.
So for those casting directors listening out there, let's go ahead and get Portia on the next automotive commercial. I think it'd be great. Alfonso Lugo, who I interviewed, he does Mercedes. He does Mercedes automotive commercials, and Alfonso, if you're listening, let's get Portia on there.
Thank you for that, Curt. I appreciate the plug. Thank you.
No, absolutely. No, thank you so much, Portia, for being on the Behind the Audition podcast. You were amazing. We'll have to do this again, and I cannot wait to see you receiving that Oscar.
Thank you. Thank you, Curt. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. To find out more about Portia Cue or to book her for a project, visit voiceoncue.com.
Thanks for listening in on Behind the Audition Podcast, made possible by Hilton Productions. If you need a male or female voiceover, contact us at hiltonproductions.com. Hilton Productions, let our voices do the selling.